And it was a mystery, I should say. For the simple reason, I was just called in for a casual chat. And the two persons who had the chat were Mr. Peter Berry and Mr. B. Fernandez, the outgoing national director, and Mr. Berry was to come in. So there was a very casual chat asking me what I'm doing and so on. At that time I was not coming from a very conservative sort of a family. I was not groomed to be a working woman. My parents wanted me to be educated and do social work, but not be employed. So the casual conversation anyway, after I completed the, whatever the questions that they asked, I answered and came down. Mr. Lakshman Perera, he was the operations manager at that time. He just told me, Niranjali, they want you on board. And I asked, as what? Would you like to take over the correspondent analyst position, that was customer service coordinator position, which is currently being done. So I said I have to check with Daddy because I don't know what my father will say. And then they said, please just come and help us with some translation. Because by then I had done some translations for Youth for Christ. And I said, okay. So that's how I walked into Vision, and I got permission from my father to help Vision for about an year in their translation till they established the sponsor relations department. But that 1 year lasted for 23 years. And within 4 months, I was offered this customer relations officer job. And within 3 years, I was a coordinator, national coordinator for sponsor relations, which was equivalent to manager customer relations. And my journey continued. And I have to emphasize that I had the best of leaders who guided me, because I was so naive and I was fresh. My knowledge about community development or even poverty for that matter was different. It was a fancied sort of a varied term. So I learned from A, the letter A. They taught me. It was Mr. Sextus Mendes, Mr. Lakshman Perera, Mr. Sadhara Gamage. They are my leaders. They guided me, and of course, having Mr. Berry as my leader at that time really molded me, because he was a person who was perfection plus, who wanted divinity in the work that we did. It was not just rendering justice to a call, but it has to go beyond our duty. So that was how we were wounded, and thank God for that. Because whatever we are today, though we are now in retirement, early retirement, premature retirement, and not part of World Vision, in that sense, it keeps us going because of that molding and the leadership that was given to us by all those who were there and the peers who supported us. It was a glorious journey. Overall, that's how I would say that transformed me to be a woman who could take up challenges in life situations. We handled the tsunami situation, the disasters, the war situations, all that, So that was the base for whatever I am. So I always thank God that I get an opening at World Vision. And some of the very special memories are the death of a colleague who met with an accident and he died. At that time I have not experienced very much in my family. So that kept me awake for many days. And the second thing, it still pains me, is the death of a sponsored child, because I was translating her letters. Her name was Ratna Manike from Colorado, and she used to write letters to the sponsor saying, the sponsor had written saying, I have placed your photograph in my fridge and I look at it every day and I touch the nose and I offer a special care. And we translated that letter and sent it. And this child has shared that information with her classmates. So the classmates have made fun of her, saying, your photograph has been kept in the kitchen. Now, their understanding of a kitchen is that, the little hut where it's a gloomy place. So they were making fun of this girl for, that her photograph has been placed in the kitchen. So this girl writes back saying, all my friends were mocking at me because my photograph has been pasted on the fridge of your kitchen. So the correspondence was very lovely, very innocent communication coming from, and that I enjoyed. And all of a sudden one day I got a message to say that this child died of the cardiac arrest. She had asthma and she died. So that really broke me. I think that was one incident which I thought, no, sponsorship is not for me because I can't go on like this. If a thing like this happens again, that's going to break me. So that was a struggle, that initial incident. But after that, of course, we lost 68 children to tsunami and all that. By then, to a certain extent, we were sort of trained to accept loss. So that is one incident that I will always remember. And I was the first customer service staff member, child sponsorship staff member. So I was the only person who was traveling at that time with all the male staff. And I had to very specifically mention that the care and the protection that they gave at that age, that really helped me, because I remember the initial stages we were not staying in hotels and things like that. Sometimes it was school building. I was put up at the principal's bungalow. A room was given to me, whereas Sextus, Javir and all these people, they will be sleeping on the desks of the classroom. So that's how we started sponsorship. And we didn't have fax machines and computers and all that. So the child history message, history form rather, had to be printed by us. So we had the, I can't remember what that form was called, the format rather. So the printing was done in office and the machine gets heated up. So David and Upali, and they used to come and they used to fan the machine till it cools down, and then we used to print again. And everything was manual at that time, typing. Now the picture folders are done abroad. We transfer the child's photograph and information electronically. But during those times we had to do it on our own. So we had to make sure that the photograph is the actual size or it will get rejected. So paste it with the plastic gum so that it can be removed easily. And each picture folder, the history of the child has to be written by us. We had to do it. In 150 words, we had to tell the story about this child. So it was very interesting because year 1987, which I joined, we had a growth of 6,000 CIP, children program, RC. So we initially had only 1,008, 4 projects in the Colombo district. And the same year, we had projects from Polonnaruwa and down south also. Urubukka and all these projects came. And then there were other countries. It was initially only Australia was sponsoring, and then USA, New Zealand and Canada came in. So that time again, we used to work till about 2 o'clock in the morning, go home, just change our clothes, get back. We had transport, so we ensured that all of us, we felt comfortable, though despite the shortcomings. So 7 o'clock the vehicle comes, we would have dressed up again, come work. Now looking back, I really don't know from where the energy came for us to run through like that. So till about May or June, that was our routine. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, we were taken home. The next day we came and started work and all that. And that was the year that we had, in 87, I think we had about 13 or 14 newcomers. Before that, I think we had only something like 30 staff members or something like that. With the expansion into, or the moving into child sponsorship, the organization expanded. So we had about 13 new staff members. So I had a manager at that time, Mrs. Sureshma Fernando, and Lilani Daniel was the coordinator. So I worked under them. It was like, either you're offering yourself for, that's how I used to say, I'm offering myself for mercy killing. Meeting with Mr. Berry was like that. We always wanted to hide and run away because he will ask for the impossible. The first sponsorship conference in 1993, I will always remember that because I was to be married that year. 1 month before my marriage, I was sent for this conference. At that time, World Vision Lanka was the model to the Asia region. We had done well in all our performances. So we had a message to carry to the region. It was an international conference, not just a regional conference, where we had to speak about how we reached there. So Mr. Berry, got us to do some documents. It was Shamli, myself, and Mr. Lee. Mr. Shamli was the operations manager. Mr. Lee was the admin and IT manager at that time, and I was the sponsorship manager. So we went for that workshop. I will always remember the way Mr. Berry was. Before going, I had to prepare a document. Mr. Lee and Mr. Shamli were helping me. It was a 38-page document which had to be tabled, and we were new to the computer system. Oh, thank God for Kumar Lopez. He helped me do that because I didn't even know where the delete key was and all that. So Kumar used to work with me. That was edited 12 times. And at one point, I told Mr. Berry, I had lost my father, and I was getting married to my wife. So stress was there. I said, Mr. Berry, I'm not going. I don't want to go through this. And he said, no, you're the person who is going. So what else? Until I went there, and then after I went there, of course, Mr. Berry was putting all three of us on the pedestal. It's not for this lady, it's not for these two gentlemen. Sri Lanka wouldn't be there. He always gave the glory to the staff, gave the honor to the staff. So I came back again. Mr. Berry has not apologized for what happened or anything like that. He was the leader. But when I reached home that night, I received a bouquet of flowers. Mr. Berry had sent for me. Thank you, Niranjali. I knew I didn't make life any easier for you, but you stood the test. And I'm glad that I stood the test because I could have easily given up. I could have easily given up because it's such a frustrating moment. I cried. I cried in front of Mr. Berry saying, Mr. Berry, I'm not going to go. The support from the staff carried us. There were many instances like that where we wanted to give up because it wasn't an easy journey. But thank God, everybody cared for one another. We never let another person go down. We always pulled that person again. If they didn't do that, I won't be here today. There were so many who carried me through. Because I was, I was half-baked something. I didn't know the detail of anything. I knew parts of everything, but not the full story. So on that count, if not for all the leaders, the peers, even the people who were working in the global levels then up, the support that they gave carried us through. And World Vision definitely was blessed to have all these people. That's how I would say it. It was a blessed journey. 1999 and 2002, those period, we initiated a heart surgery program for the children. It was an accident. One day when I was in office on a Saturday, I got a fax saying that this child is sick with a hole in the heart. The doctor wants this child to go for a surgery. And this was a new situation for me because we didn't come across any children with heart surgery. So I took that report and went and met Dr. Pramod Ranatunga at that time. He was a cardiologist. And he said, this is correctable and it's not a costly thing. And I'm sure this is a very common condition as well. And being an organization that is dealing with hundreds or thousands of children, there may be other children as well, Niranjali. Why don't you trace them and all and come? We will start a project. It was Dr. Pramod Ranatunga who helped me. And then I sent a mail to all the ADP managers asking them if they have identified any children with heart condition, please send me the details. And 43 names were sent. So I went to Dr. Pramod Ranatunga. He introduced me to Dr. Rajiv Piri, and we all walked into the Derby's Hospital. And the Derby's Hospital was very generous. They gave us 40% discount on each child, and we did something like 69 surgeries within a year, and it continued. So that was a highlight of my being with World Vision. It was a glorious event because we could see the joy of the new life of children. We talk about fullness of life, and the fullness of life I witnessed, especially when I I took 3 children to India for their surgery. At that time, initially we didn't have Apollo Hospital and so on, so I took the children to the Madras Medical Mission. So one child, the doctor said, only 20% chance is there. There's a possibility that this child might collapse in their theatre and they might lose the child. So I had taken the father, so it was a very difficult time to explain to the father. But then he said, come up there and spend a day. Lanka region, even if the child is in Sri Lanka, there's no chance the child can die. So let it be here. So it was a very painful event, sitting in that hotel room, drafting my, the World Vision pledge and getting that father to type sign the document and all that. I had to fax it to World Vision and then get Mr. Lee was the national director, his approval whether I should go ahead, and he said, if the father is okay, go ahead. And we did that surgery. And this child, she had very dark lips, face was dark, her nails were dark because there was no blood purification in her system. So soon after the surgery, when I went there, she looked like a fresh bloom of rose, so pink. Her face looked so pink. So at that moment I thought, Lord, thank you that you brought me to work here.